welcome. This is an unusual video. Oh, if you're a regular subscriber, you already kind of see that it appears Tina Talks is going on a different trajectory from late last year. There was a video that I shot. There was an interview that I shot with someone on how to cultivate plantain plantation. This is a kind of a sequel in similar series, because agriculture, do you know agriculture is actually the next, especially in Africa. Different ways people can get engaged, but today specifically, I want to consider a root tuber that is used for so many things, and that is what cassava. I think the origin of cassava, the first country was actually Brazil, that is in tropical America. That's where it was from Brazil that it was introduced to Africa. Do you know it was introduced to Africa by the Portuguese? I was made to understand. But I'm not going into that history, but I just want to give you that background. Cassava is a rich carbohydrate. It is rich in calcium. Do you know that it's rich in vitamin B and C? And even there are some essential minerals that are in it. And every part of that plant actually useful. So if you are involved in it, it means you have a potential so much out of it. And there's so many things that cassava is being used. Do you know cassava tubers in high demand in many countries? So if you're in Africa, it's a potential export. And even if you're in diaspora or you have any connection with Africa, it's a potential import. You can be in between as a broker and even engage your people back at home in this. And because there are a lot of industries that use cassava flour cassava flour are major raw materials in the noodles production industries, cassava flour industries, which is for even cosmetic industries. And for those that come from the western part of Africa, it's used in gari factories, it's used in fufu producing, and all these things are now being mechanized. You can do these things in large scale, but cassava is the raw material input. Can you see how important cassava is? And it's also used for starch. It's used for ethanol, and it's used for glucose syrup, sweetener. Many use of cassava, and that is why I have decided today to bring someone that is outstanding in that field, that has gone in there, is been there, and is doing it, and is smashing it so well that this guy is recognized as an outstanding cassava farmer. And he did not just stay at just the accolades and the award that is coming to him. Do you know what this guy eventually did? He went to bring in young people. He's actually looking for more young people. In his cluster, he has about 200 youth that in these practices, because Nigeria is currently the highest producer of cassava worldwide. Read my lips again. Nigeria in Africa is the highest producer of cassava. And you can see a list of the top producers of cassava. Nigeria tops that list. And in Nigeria, State is the highest producer of cassava. And this particular guy is from Ogun State. And this is the one that is doing standing person, even in the area of cassava production. We will go into the chat room for you to meet this guy, amazing things. And he's not keeping the knowledge to himself. He wants many people to join him. You see that? Because he believes that you doing this, in everybody coming together, you can come invest at any of the value chain. You can be just an investor, you can hammer that's actually doing, but he wants every one of us to be involved. And that's why I brought him into my studio to actually speak to us what the cassava production process is like. I want him to simplify it for us. That is it that easy? Because the way our father used to be done in the olden days is so laborious, and that's why a lot of people, they have left farming. And somebody like me, would you believe first degree was actually in agriculture? And today, ask me, am I actively in agriculture? No. This guy is an inspiration. Though a young person is an inspiration to some of us, that is, in fact, is making us have a rethink of how want to engage in agriculture. Not for young people alone. I think it's even for people that might be considering retirement. This might be a worth venture So let's go into the chat room and I meet this my cassava hero. You're now welcome back into the studio room. We are about to meet the guide that we are going to be meeting, that is going to be talking us through the cultivation process and how cassava is so important and profiting, especially in Africa. And the person that I'm actually going to be bringing to have a chat is going to be an informal chat. None other. His name is Ajibola Johnson Akindele, and is the CEO of the Young Agro Service guys. And I've had quite a lot about this guy, so I want you, my viewers, to meet him, and he's going to take us on that information. So in a moment, I'm going to be bringing him in, even to do So how did you come about cassava? What happened? How did you and cassava become related? Because I heard that if we are talking about cassava in your state and even in the research institute, your name will always come up. How did your journey with cassava start? How did you start with cassava?
Okay, you're welcome. As you said, I'm Johnson by name. I'm the CEO of the Young Agro Service Enterprise. And I'm also the president of all youth farmer association in Ogun State. I've been farming since 2006. Then we are just farming.
Wow, that's how many years ago? Okay.
You say what?
Go on. I said that's how many years ago?
Okay.
Long time.
That is about 17 years ago. We are just doing it the way our forefathers are doing it. But unfortunately, when it is 2014, 2015, there is a program called IFAD VCDP, International Fund Development for African and Value Chain Development for Africa coming. They came to Ogun State then. I was one of the beneficiaries. They were the one that sent me to National Root Research Institute at Umudike for cassava stem multiplication training. I also went to IIT for the training too. We went to Niji Farm at Oyo for the training on cassava. Then when I now come back, when I came back that time, with what we have been doing, we know we are doing it wrong. That's the reason why we are getting the same result the same year, every year. With the exposure and the training I got from this institute, I'll put all the training in place. When it's 2016, then 2016, 2017, I increased from what I've been doing in hectare to a large scale. Then all the good agronomic practices we were taught, then I put it in place. Then I gather youth in my cluster, in my area then. With the youth I gathered together that we are working together. Presently the youth are about over 200 youth in my cluster. With that, I was elected as the president of with what we are doing on the field. The youth in our area are seeing the difference between olden days farmer and nowadays farming. With that, most of them
let me put you on hold then.
Okay.
Can you tell us the things that you are now doing differently? The things that has made you used to be attracted to the current practices that you now put in place that could draw so many youths that you could have up to 200 now under your wing that you're supervising and you're leading. What are those practices that have changed? Can you just take us through a couple of them?
Okay. Because of our time, let me mention of little thing about that. That is what we call good agronomic practices. That when you follow good agronomic practices on your feed, on cassava feed, you are good to go. You will have more yield, less weed, you weed less, you have more yield. The income, the EOP, your EOP is going to reduce. That is economies of production that we are going to put in place on an hectare. The stress, everything. Let me mention about the good agronomic practices I'm talking about. Before now, we used to farm, when we want to farm, we used to use cutters and hoe. But presently, it's hard for a farm to use even cutlass to weed in a farm, most especially in our farm, because everything was done mechanically. We plow.
So what do you now do instead?
We plow. After plowing, you plant. You plow twice. If you are doing good agronomic practicing, you do your first plow. After 2 weeks of doing the first plow, 2 to 3 weeks, you do your second plow. After the second plow, if you want to reach, it depends on the location of your farm, you arrow and you reach. After reaching, you plant.
Okay,
after planting,
before you go ahead, Johnson, why do you need to plow twice?
Yes, plowing is what you do to make the soil soft, to till the soil. If you till it very well, if
so why do you need to do it twice?
The reason why you need to do it twice is that the first plow you are going to do, there are some weeds that you will not, the first plow will not cover. If you do one plow, it won't cover all the weeds. There are some that are going to be escaped. By the time you leave 2 weeks to 3 weeks before you do second plow, most of the weeds that has emerged before that you plow, they are going to rot in. They will add to the nutrition of the soil. Aside that, there are some seeds of wheat that used to emerge after plowing. After second or third week, those seeds are going to emerge. When the seed emerge, you will plow. By that time, before you do your second plow, it's better you apply pre-emergence herbicide. Systemic herbicide rather. There is a chemical we call systemic herbicide. We have different brand of it. If you apply it, when you do your first plow, within 2 to 3 weeks, you apply your systemic herbicide. It will tackle most of the seeds that emerge and some of the the weeds that escape the plowing. By the time you do that, when you now do your second plow, your field will neat.
Okay, it will now be ready, really ready for the next oh good. Okay, so you can continue. Yeah, okay.
For weed management, it will reduce the stress of the weed.
So you can continue. Now I'm very clear about the reason why you are doing. So you can continue. You were explaining, you were taking us through the journey of cultivating cassava. Yeah.
Yeah.
After plowing, what next? And what next?
After plowing, the next thing is to plant. But there are some area, it depends on the time you want to plant and the area you want to plant. If you are planting during dry season, maybe dry season planting, it's better you reach.
Yeah.
The reason is this: when you want to uproot, it will be easier for those that want to uproot it when you reach. It's not compulsory you reach, but if you want it to be easier for those that are going to uproot, and for spacing, for you to get the correct spacing, when you reach all your planting, all this cassava that you planted will be on the straight line, and it is easy to maintain, to control the weight. After that, you will plant.
So, in your own opinion, are you advising that it's better to reach, or
yes, it's good to reach.
Okay.
From my experience, after that,
and are you with the current practices? Do you still, is the reaching manual or mechanical? How do you
mechanical? Everything I'm saying is on mechanic way.
Mechanized, okay.
By using tractor, yes.
Fantastic.
After reaching, you plant. To get a good result, when you are planting too, most of farmers are getting it wrong by the time they are planting. The spacing must be correct. If you plant in a correct spacing, you are going to get a good yield. The spacing must not be much or closer. You can plant, it depends on the variety you are planting.
What's the recommended spacing?
The recommended spacing is 1 meter by 0.8. If it is a variety that the stem goes straight, like 119, we have different varieties.
Okay.
But there are varieties that you can plant 1 meter. It depends on the variety. Any variety that have branches,
Okay.
any of the variety that you want to try to plant that have branches is advisable to plant it 1 meter by 1 meter.
Okay, fantastic.
Is it that
But
1 meter by 1 meter or 1 meter by 0.8 meter?
But okay, fantastic. Go ahead.
Then, before you plant, you need to source for good cassava seed. There are difference between stem and seed. There are people that are planting stem that they just see anyhow. But if you want to get good results when you are planting cassava, you source good variety, good stem, good seed from a reliable source. By doing so, the result, what you are going to get as an output, the yield is going to be higher. When you plant that finish, after planting, the next thing is you apply another chemical, which is called pre-emergence herbicide. Before now, after planting, immediately after planting, if it is cassava, within 3rd or 5th day of planting, you must apply pre-emergence herbicide. We have different branch of it. I can't be mentioning the name. Then, with this, before now, there are people that are thinking maybe by using a pre-emergence herbicide, we are wasting money, we are wasting chemical, we are wasting effort on it, because there is no any weed on field when you are applying pre-emergence herbicide. Before any weed emerge, that's the work of pre-emergence herbicide. By the time you apply pre-emergence herbicide, mommy, you are good to go. When you plant your cassava, you just go and rest. You'll be coming to field and visiting your farm. There are some farms that we've done with the help of the pre-emergence herbicide, most especially when we do it during dry season, till we harvest. We don't need to weed. We don't need to do anything. We have some.
Are you kidding me? Really?
Of course.
Wow.
I can even send some of the videos and pictures of farm. Any farm, any of our farm, when you visit our farm, you will not see traces of any weed. With that, we are getting 45, 50, 48 metric tons per hectare.
40-something metric tons per hectare?
Yes, per hectare. If you now go on a large scale,
before these practices that you have adopted, what was the output per hectare before?
Per hectare before now is around 7, 8. Even though sometimes that we get 11, 12 tons per hectare, is that time that we believe we do it in the right way. Then.
But may I now ask, using the pre-emergence, is it herbicide or what? Pre-emergence herbicide.
Yes.
Does it not affect the sprouting, the germination of the cassava stem itself?
No, the cassava will surely emerge. It's only the seed. We have different type of pre-emergence herbicide. There are some that are using for seed feed. There are some that are using for stem feed. Okay. When you get the calculation how to apply it very well, and when you apply it at the right times, you are good to go.
Okay, but the application now, coming to the application of the pre-emergence, because sorry that I have to take you, because I want our viewers to understand this practice, because I know that, and from your reputation, from the output, I know that you have nailed it. You know how to do these things. So, in the application of the herbicide, the pre-emergence herbicide, is that one done manually using people, or you still do it mechanically as well?
All are mechanically. They are done.
So how about the application of the herbicide?
Yes, they are done by tractor, by boom sprayer. It's tractor that's going to mount the boom sprayer. Everything I'm telling you is going to be done by. They are all done by machine.
It would be nice to see action.
When you have about 1,000 or 1,005 acres, how are you going to use manually to do that effectively without omitting some places?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
There are machines.
So to be good,
we have tractor. Let me chip in something. There are machines for plowing, harrowing, ridging, planting. We have cassava planter too. We have cassava uprooter.
Wow.
There are machines that can uproot cassava.
And they will uproot it very well.
Of course. Of course.
Wow, that's impressive. It would have been good to actually visit your demonstration, your farm, so that we can capture these things alive live and people can see. But I'm impressed. I'm happy that you are saying this, and you are saying this from Nigeria. You're saying this from Ogun State in Nigeria.
Yes.
Because oftentimes I know a lot of people are being encouraged to invest in agriculture. We have been told, even worldwide, that agriculture is the next gold. Agriculture is the next oil, but not many people are paying attention to agriculture.
Yes.
And especially cassava, for instance, as one of the plants or whatever that we are taking into consideration today is used for. I understand that cassava flour on its own, not just the flour. There's so many parts, all the parts of cassava. Is it true that all the parts of cassava are very useful? Is it true?
Yes. And in Brazil, they have over 400 produce that they get from cassava. Over 400, starting from root till the leaf. Even presently in Nigeria too, there is another I get this December last year. They are looking for 4 trailers of cassava leaf, just only the leaf.
What are you using it
4 trailers of cassava for animal consumption.
Oh. So every part of cassava is actually useful.
Which part of cassava is what?
I said every part of cassava is useful. That's what you're telling us.
Yes.
Oh,
every part of cassava. But you need to have it in a large.
You wanted to say something.
If you want people to be patronizing you on this. If you are having 1 hectare, 5 hectare, 10, 20 hectare, it's just a minor this thing. But if you have it in a large scale, they know if they come with a trailer, they will even both the stem, the leaf, the tubers.
So you represented Nigeria. You represented Nigeria at the Brazil.
Brazil, African from.
Yes. Amazing. Yeah, amazing. Good. So you've taken us up to spraying the emergence. Is it emergence herbicide, right? I'm correct.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So
after the pre-emergence,
don't take us further until.
Yes.
Okay. Pre-emergence.
After the pre-emergence after the application of pre-emergence herbicide, you need to be visiting the farm regularly. There is possibility that there are some weeds that will emerge, maybe 1 or 2 weeds within the farm. You just need roguing to just pick up. You will need some minor labor to do the roguing for you. After that, if there is room that another weed, some weed emerge again, there are chemicals that you can apply, which is selective herbicide. There are some chemical that is selective. By the time you apply it, they will leave cassava and they will kill the weeds on the field.
So what do you call those types of herbicides?
Selective
herbicides.
Selective herbicide. We have it in maize, in rice, and in cassava too. Even though when you want to weed rice farm, you don't need to be weeding it. You just spray a selective herbicide. The rice will stay. The weed, all the weed, both broadleaf and grasses that on the weed will die. It's only the rice that we escape. That's the work of technology.
Wow.
Likewise on rice.
And how is that kind of spraying done? Is it done? Do you spray it using? How do you do that sort of spraying?
That one you will do that manually.
Manually, okay. Except if you can use there's this
drone. Yes, you can use drone. Yes.
Yeah, you can use drone.
Yes, if you have the access of drone spraying, you can use it. If there is no, you can use manually. And it's easy. It's just as if you are working on the farm. It can't stress you as if you are weeding. That's one of the reasons. These are most of the reasons that youth are coming in. That's what IFAD
into agriculture.
Introducing to youth in Nigeria.
Fantastic. In fact, you have no idea. Just this small knowledge that you have shared, I'm sure some of our viewers, it has liberated them and it has encouraged some people. Now, I want us to fast forward Because let me allow you to take us to the point where we are going to cultivate harvest, because I want us to talk about your organization that you are the CEO. I want us to talk about it at some point, please. So take us forward. After when it gets to, what other things do you need to do before you start harvesting?
After that is all what we are doing now. From when you get it right, from land preparation, the stress of the weed will reduce. Most of our farm aside, we don't even do anything after pre-emergence herbicide. Most of it we just do logging. After that we spray selective herbicide once, twice. After that you are good to go. Within 9 to 12 months you can start harvesting. It depends on the variety. There are varieties that can stay for 14, 15 months. There are some that within 9 months, 10 months, 11 months you can uproot them.
So what's the difference between this variety? Because if I know that one is for 9 months, why should I go for the 15 months one? Is it that there are some that they are used for certain things and there are some that you can't use for certain things?
Let me just mention that a little difference. Right? Yes. We have one that have low starch content. Like vitamin A, there is one variety we call vitamin A. This variety there is not much starch on it. It's not good for those that are using starch.
So what do people use it? Okay, what do people use that one for?
Gari. They use it for gari and flour, and yes, and they use it for they use it for fufu too, dry fufu.
Oh, okay.
This kind odorless fufu.
And that one, how long does it take? How long does that one take to cultivate?
That one is within 9 months. 9 months to 11 months is ready to harvest. That one, if someone even have diabetes, is good because of the health benefits of it. You have less starch.
Because it has low starch content.
Yes. When they uproot it, when they fry it, it will just come out yellow like that, your clothes.
Similar to what I'm wearing, So they call that, and that one is always processed with palm oil to enrich the gari with palm oil. And what he's trying to tell us now, that there's actually a variety that by the time you process it, it comes out exactly like that. And the health benefit of this variety is the fact that it has low starch content. So meaning that you do not have there's no concern when you're eating when you're consuming this particular type of gari. For those that don't understand gari is cassava flakes. And I think in the western part of Africa, that is where that cassava can be processed and to what is called gari, which is cassava flakes. So Johnson, so that's the reason for those variety. How about the one that is used for cassava flour for industrial use? How long does that one take?
Those ones they are using for starch have high starch content. There are some that
how long does that one take?
Within 9 months. There are some that is ready to harvest within 9 months and 12 months. There are some that have high starch content too that can be harvested within 12 months and 15 months too.
Okay, so but I'm sure as a farmer, any farmer will prefer the one that is 9 month cycle rather than the 20, 13 or 15 month cycle.
Yes. Because of the time.
I'm very excited about that. But I think we are going to, at least you kind of make us understand the reason for the high yields in Nigeria and because of the practices that you guys are now taking on board. And it's a welcome development. It's not just for youth, even for the people that are not youth, because it means gladly, even people that are getting to retirement age, it's a thing they can actually retire into because it's not going to take so much of your energy, especially when this is already, we have mechanized practices, that can increase the yield. You can imagine when you're saying before you adopted all these practices, your output per hectare used to be around 12 tons, and now it has increased to up to 40 tons per hectare. That is crazy, clearly. Clearly, that's a crazy increase, and it is worth it. But I think what people will be saying here is mechanization. Is expensive. It's expensive. Do you?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, because for you to, yes, it's very expensive, is it not?
It's not.
Why do you
Madam,
say
it's
so?
not expensive. Yes.